Alright, so welcome to the video that finally is getting recorded. It's been 3, 4 attempts or whatever at this thing. So sorry about the delay on it. Basically what ended up happening was the first attempt to record, I got stuck at work pretty late and kind of pushed back everything, so the recording didn't happen on time as expected. And then we finally did get the recording done, only to then in editing realize that the audio never captured for Zach. So, we didn't get it out before the game. And then another incident of work keeping me late happened. So here we go. But since the Dynasty mode part actually already filmed, that game ended up 24-3 Packers. So this is just kind of a play now to talk about weeks 1 and 2. And then we're gonna have the week 3 preview video coming out later on Saturday. So this should be like the first video on Saturday, and then that one's going to be the second video on Saturday, just for everybody. So keep an eye on the channel for that. But yeah, obviously we're starting this game. Already got a third down for the defense coming up. But before we kind of talk about the Colts game in week 2, let's go over the Eagles game from week 1. So we won 24-10 on the Dynasty mode with the help of 2 pick sixes. Unfortunately, in real life, the Packers lost 29-34. So both Zach and I were 0-1 on our predictions to start the year. I think I was a touchdown in favor of the Packers, and Zach was a little bit bolder on his prediction over there. But I don't know. What'd you think of the start of the game?
I mean, I'm never going to complain about getting a couple turnovers pretty early. Was disappointed that the offense wasn't able to do more. There's a lot of, mental mistakes. They had the holds and the false starts, and then you had the turf, people slipping, and then general rust, probably some travel, some jet lag. There was just a lot of issues, and we didn't convert those turnovers into enough points.
Yeah, that was definitely
Nice interception, though.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely one of those sinking feelings in the stomach when you get 2 turnovers and all of a sudden it's only 6-0 afterwards instead of 10-0 or 14-0. But definitely a shout out to McKinney getting the interception on his first drive as a Packer, and we had talked going into it, like, how was the replacement for Kelsey going to look, because it was their starting right guard the year before that was moving over to center, but you have a guy that's probably going to the Hall of Fame, and that's going to be a hard replacement job. And second drive as the starter, he has the snap miscommunication with Hurts, snaps it early, and it's a fumble recovery by Wyatt. So things were looking good, just you were kind of hoping the offense would get kicking a little bit better. And then wheels kind of fell off there a little bit for the defense for a little while anyways. We were talking about this earlier. The next 4 Eagles drives ended up being 2 Saquon Barkley touchdowns, a field goal, and then coming out of halftime, you had the A.J. Brown deep shot touchdown against Jair. So obviously not the stretch you want for the defense to kind of start the the new schemes and new tenure of a defense coordinator. But luckily too, at the same time, the offense was kind of keeping up with that. They got their own points and everything, but after that, it seemed like the defense calmed down. You had the 2 3-and-outs. Then, unfortunately, Saquon kind of completed his hat trick of touchdowns over there. And then that came right after the Love interception that he was trying to hit Musgrave. And I think it was Ben Kurt, where he was basically blaming Musgrave for the pick for not running in front of the safety more. But, outside of that, kind of some questionable penalty calls, but ultimately at the end the Eagles get a 16-play, 67-yard drive to set up a field goal and pretty much kind of seal the game off from there. So that was disappointing. Overall, you know, the start was great, the ending was, solid enough. The middle kind of sucked. So, how would you grade the defense for week 1?
I'd give it a B plus, I think. It's a new scheme. It's mostly the same returning players from last year, except for safety with McKinney and Bullard. But it's a new scheme. They seem to be flying around, which is what you would expect from an aggressive defense. They were flying around. They were rushing to the ball when a guy, started to make a catch and run for it. Obviously, the turnovers were there. A couple picks and fumble and everything. So, can't really complain about that. Run defense wasn't great. They kind of started okay, but once Barkley got going, it was kind of over. I think he ended up with a shade over 140 rushing yards by himself, something to that effect.
Not an interception?
I don't think you got your feet down.
It's not even let me challenge. What the hell, man? This is some 7 and 9
I don't
bullshit.
think your feet are down.
Oh well. But yeah, I think I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say down on the defense, but especially because they gave up 3 touchdowns to the same guy. I kind of went with that B- to C+ range. I did like what I saw though. Like, they were more aggressive than what they were, at most points last season. They got the 3 turnovers. Really should have been 4 turnovers because Nixon had that house call that he dropped as well, which sucked. But, positively, Hurts didn't run all over him like he did in the first matchup that he had against us. They did need to get better aligned in the run game because one of Barkley's runs was, just guys not lined up in position. I think I saw most people blaming Kenny Clark for that, but just takes a minute to kind of get used to all that stuff, and that's a tough matchup, right off of the get-go in week 1. But, kind of a side note too, Cooper, he didn't get a whole lot of snaps, but man, when he was in, he popped. So I'm excited to see him kind of continue to grow as the season goes on. If that happened in real life, Matt LaFleur would have just got absolutely destroyed on that sideline.
For real. Slight correction, Saquon Barkley had 109 rushing yards. As a team, they had a little over 140.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was like, I don't have the stats in front of me. I was like, that sounds high, but whatever. But, yeah, I mean, if the defense was, in the B+ to C+ range for us, what do you think of the offense in that one? Because outside of Jaden Reed being an absolute beast, who is the leading receiver of week 1 in the NFL at 4 catches for $138 and a touchdown, and then added another 33-yard touchdown, it got a little rough.
Yeah, I'd give him like a C.
Yeah.
Not a plus or a minus, just a C, 75.
Yeah.
They were able to move the ball. I believe we had more rushing yards than we gave up. So we had more rushing against the Eagles. So the offense, they moved. They scored a few points. Obviously, we had 29.
Yeah.
But it was just incohesive. There was moments where they were consistently moving the ball and looked good, and then swatches of nothing where everything was just dead.
Yeah, it seemed like, too, whenever they got something kind of going, there'd be a holding call or something. I know Walker had one where Jacobs had got a first down run wiped out because of one of his holding calls, and that led to the INT to Musgrave right afterwards as well.
I believe he had a touchdown wiped out, too.
Yeah, I know there was a touchdown that got wiped out, but I think the touchdown that got wiped out wasn't that the 12 men on the field for both sides. Which, that was weird as hell.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was the weird, both teams had 12 men on the field penalty.
Just let it count, they're even.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen.
Musgrave, catch it.
Boo.
Boo this man. Boo.
But yeah, I mean, and then, Jordan Love had a few throws where he just seemed off. Like I mentioned earlier, the turf didn't play any favors to him. Having the soccer turf that isn't really designed for football. The guys just slip more. I know you had told me during the game you were watching AJ Dillon stream, and
Yeah.
he said that each stadium has a cleat chart so that you can kind of get your cleats ready before you're actually on the field. But because it's a stadium that's never had an NFL game, there's no cheat sheet for it.
Yeah, it was going to take a little longer
all
to get
the
adjusted.
athletic trainers, all the equipment guys were having to kind of come up with it on the fly and just figure it out. And it took longer for some than others to get the right cleats. So, when you put all that stuff together, there was just, they just didn't play well enough. And then considering how well they finished the season, and since all the players were returning, the scheme has not been changed, you expected them to do a little better in the first game. I know the Eagles are a solid team, but they didn't finish last season very well. And, they didn't, even against us, they definitely had beatable moments, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
Let's go. Yeah, I think, like, overall, kind of like what you're saying, Love didn't really get going right away. He ended up at a 50% completion percentage. I know some of that's the drops and stuff, but even his expected completion percentage was only like a 62 or something like that, which would have been like one of his lowest games of the year last year. But you know, when he did get some hits, he was 17 to 34, but 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the one pick, should have had the second pick, honestly, because he threw that pick 6 that just happened to get dropped, and then that led to a touchdown. But like kind of saying, optimistically, Green Bay was sloppy as hell week 1 in another country, good team. If they would have done any better than 1 for 4 in the red zone, they win that game. And even after the running game, they struggled like hell in the first half of that one. It was like 10 yards rushing for Josh Jacobs, and then he ends up with 84 after a bigger, second half. Emmanuel Wilson had a little bit of
run game in the first half was not good.
Yeah, Emmanuel Wilson had a few carries that got going, and obviously Reed had the carry, for the big score. But it took a minute to kind of get going for him, and ultimately, they still got the turnovers on the defense, and everything. It would have sucked to lose, but everything kind of felt optimistic at least. And then the Jordan Love injury happened, and that was. We were looking at doing the post-game kind of reaction video, and it was just like such a deflating injury that it's like, oh man, is our season already over after 1 week? And
it was pretty rough.
Yeah,
fortunately, it was just an MCL sprain.
Yeah, that shit still sucks. I had a sprained MCL when I was playing football in high school and stuff, and I felt like I didn't want to walk for a couple weeks at least. So the 3 to 6 week timeline obviously is with all the best doctors in the world and everything. What a pick by Bullard right then.
For real.
I tried to user control him at the end just to snipe him, but I didn't think I was actually going to get there. But, yeah, I mean, his injury, it sucked. It sounded like he got close to returning for the Colts game over here, but, obviously they went with Willis as the starter. So going into that game, we were 0-1, looking to avoid a 0-2 start for the first time since like 2006. Defend the winning streak on home openers and everything. And we didn't have an official prediction go out on that one. I thought going into it that the Colts would probably win by about 3. I thought it was going to be kind of that low scoring 17 to 13 type of score. I did, the day of the game, start getting more optimism about it for whatever reason. Not really any, like, specific, game plan or anything like that. I was just like, you know, if Willis can hit a couple throws, like, they have a chance. But, you know, he was going into that game never having a 100-yard passing game, as Josh Jacobs just destroys the Colts like he did on Sunday.
Really?
But, yeah, I mean, it was nice to see him get his first career passing touchdown, to, you know, get his first career 100-yard passing game. And, you know, he goes out and gets the job done for us. Without Jordan Love, we at least get a win with him and stay kind of alive. But I don't know. What'd you think of the Week 2 game overall?
I have no idea why the Colts did not play better run defense in the first half.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I just don't get it. You know, you're facing what is the backup quarterback who's been pressed into duty because of an injury, and you already know that he's kind of a unknown that hasn't shown a lot of great passing acumen in his preseason games. All week long, the whole conversation was the Packers are going to have to run. They're going to have to be effective running the ball. Malik Willis needs to be safe with the ball, and they'll have a chance. So what do? They give up 237 rushing yards in the first half.
Yeah, that was wild. Like, when
Yeah.
You know, when they had their Week 1 game against Houston, they lost 29-27, but they gave up like 213 to Houston also on the ground for the entire game. And that whole discussion going into it was, yeah, we played a light box to try to prevent, you know, Stephon Diggs, you know, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, those guys, you know, from getting going with Stroud at quarterback. So, you know, it would sound like they were going to try to make the adjustments. Yeah, it's like, it's a little more understandable. You big threat of a passing attack, you're trying to stop their weapons. Joe Mixon's no slouch. You knew that was going to be a tough matchup with him, but, you know, at the very least, it's understandable, the game plan. It just didn't work out. When they got to Green Bay, it's like, man, you got a guy under center that's, you know, his highest passing total was a 99-yard game. He has only made 3 starts before this. He's never thrown a passing touchdown in the league. Make that dude beat you with his arm. Like, they should have loaded the hell up out of the box. And I know it was Stewart for them, I believe, the nose tackle. Like, he was the big part of, you know, their run defense in Week 1 to start with. It was like, when he was in, the Texans only averaged about 4 yards per carry. When he was out, they were giving up like 8 yards a carry, and he was out for like 14 of their rushing attempts, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Grover Stewart, that was the name I was trying to remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, I mean, it was just wild to... Damn. That was what I expected more of for Richardson this week. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I know the Colts had Julian Blackman and Juju Brents, some of their bigger secondary people, both out, but, you know, man, you would have thought that they would have really been all in on the run block, or the run stopping, and see what happens. But yeah, and first half just now didn't come out of the gates that way. But, you know, to their credit,
I don't get it.
Yeah, to their credit, they did make adjustments in the second half, because I think Green Bay only got like, what, 30 or 40 yards in the entire second half on the ground. And then,
yeah,
better credit,
because we ended with like 263, I think.
Yeah, better credit to Green Bay though was, you know, Willis was able to make the passes that he needed to. They didn't really make him have to throw too many deep. I think we were just talking about that a little while ago as we're getting ready to film, but he only threw like, what, 3 passes beyond 10 yards for the entire game. It was just,
yep,
happened
he
to
attempted 14 passes and only 3 were beyond 10 yards. Although Next Gen Stats is missing an incompletion, so I'm not I'm not sure where that incompletion was on the field, but it's not on the chart.
Gotcha.
So maybe he threw one really far down the field that I don't remember. But based off their stats, he only had 3 that were beyond 10 yards and nothing over the middle. Literally 0 for 0 over the middle.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It is crazy, but it also means that if he's playing and you guard the boundaries, if he's not willing to throw over the middle, then he's eliminated a third of the field.
Yeah. Gonna let this clock run down and kick a field goal before halftime over here. See if I can actually, make one of these bad boys. Shout out to Narvison too. Even though he's missed a field goal in both the first 2 games, I like how much better his kicks look than Anders.
They look smooth.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're still wide.
Still a little wide, but, when he's kicking 5 a game and he's making 4 of them, I'm not going to complain too much. I'll complain, but not too much. Also,
you won't complain too much until it's the difference between winning and losing.
Yep. Like the Commanders kicker that went 7 for 7, and they needed every last one of them to win against the Giants.
Because the Giants didn't have a kicker.
I still can't get over that. That was absolutely insanity on their roster. They even
I don't want to get on.
Yeah, they even had the open spot. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't want to get on too much of a tangent and talk about, the other games right now, but I saw a headline that said that the Giants players were losing faith in Daboll, and I'm like, what? Not having a kicker and then losing because you couldn't kick extra points makes you not have faith in your coach?
I ain't gonna lie, when I saw that headline, I went, "You're just now losing faith?" But
yeah, he's been there for what, 3 years, right?
Yeah, they had the one playoff berth and then really crappy season, but I know they had like a ton of injuries and stuff too, so that is what it is. And then,
man, you totally had that guy wide open over the middle of the field.
Yeah. Oh well.
You locked onto your receiver.
I did. Damn. If I can hit this crosser real quick. Oh, they changed coverage. They changed coverage. Yeet.
It worked.
Good enough. But yeah, like honestly, going into the Packers game against the Colts, too, Richardson, he wasn't as concerning to me as Hurts was, but the dude had the ridiculous like 70 or I think it was 65 yards on his touchdown pass that was like slipped out of the drop back and then just wrist flicked it that far, which was absolutely insane. But I remember,
it's already being touted as potentially the best throw of the season. It was in week 1.
Yes. So, like, I got to see him a little bit when he was quarterback in Florida, and, the Gators were never great that year, but, like, they gave the Knowles a run for their money that season. And kind of the same thing that happened in that game, too, was, like, some of the same issues that he had in, the first 2 weeks. He has all of the arm strength in the world, and, especially for a quarterback, he can move like crazy. Like, you have to be careful of him. But the dude's accuracy is garbage at times. He had, in week 1, he missed their guy, Mitchell. Should have been a wide open touchdown, and he overshot it out of the end zone. And then against us, like, he didn't even complete 50, or I think he just got over 50% completion percentage. But, he threw another, what was it?
It was exactly 50, 17 of 34.
Yeah, so same, completion percentage as Love in week 1. But he ended up throwing 3 picks, which one was on the Hail Mary at the end and stuff. But, it was just, I was like, when you face Richardson, you can probably guarantee an interception, maybe 2. And, fortunately, Green Bay actually did that, so that was nice.
The defense played solid.
Yeah, I was
And they did a
pleased.
great job with the RPOs, and they did a great job when bracketing him when he tried to move out of the pocket. He still ended up with 37 rushing yards on 4 attempts, but it was only 4 attempts. Yeah, they didn't let him run wild.
Yeah.
Malik Willis actually had more rushing attempts than Richardson.
Malik Willis is hitting one of the craziest dances in the celebration on that touchdown run right now.
For real.
Yeah, can you imagine him breaking that out in the game? Like,
Dude, that'd be dope.
oh man, that'd be awesome. Oh no. Oof. I overpowered it. I thought I pushed it.
That was a good drive.
Yeah, I'll take that. This is sort of like how the Dynasty video went with the game. That one ended up 24-3. This one's 24-7 so far. See if I can keep Taylor contained a little bit. Of course, up 17 in the middle of the third. Probably gonna keep them from running too much more.
You know, that is another thing that confused me from our game. Is Jonathan Taylor only had 12 rushing attempts.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah, dude had like, what, 100-something yards?
Yeah, he had 103 yards on 12 rushes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they went down, a little bit early, but it was still like, it was within reach the entire time. Like, it wasn't like we got more than a 10-point lead at any point.
Yeah, I mean, even in the fourth quarter at the end, he just was barely on the field.
Yeah.
And like the broadcasters on the TV even asked, like, hey, there's something wrong with him. He's on the sideline. The sideline reporter was like, nope, he's not being worked on by trainers. He's healthy.
Yeah. I don't get it on that one.
Held him out.
I thought he broke that tackle, and I was like, what the hell? I actually choose my own defense here. I jinxed it. I was talking about how good I was compared to the Dynasty Mode one, and now look at me.
Are these quarters longer, too?
No, same amount of time. Same all pro settings, just for whatever reason, it's not going that quickly.
Weird.
Yeah.
That was just sad.
It was like he got wrapped into Gary's animation, so I just went flying past him. See if I can get the stop here. Big Kenny
Nice.
Clark. So yeah, so far through 2 weeks, who's been your kind of biggest surprise on the team? Like positive or negative?
Positive or negative?
Yeah.
I would say so far it's probably been, I guess to some degree, McKinney's been a surprise, but only because he's played so well. Like, it's almost weird just being like, yeah, don't have to worry about that guy. He's going to do good.
I think it's the first time I've felt comfortable with the safety since Nick Collins.
Fair.
Technically,
like,
Charles
we've had
Woodson
some flashes
too,
where, I mean, he wasn't a safety, even though he played some safety for us.
That's why I'm clearing out when he played safety for us, even if it wasn't normal. I still felt comfortable with him, just so that way nobody jumps on me for Charles Woodson on the comments.
But yeah, he's been a nice surprise. Although, when you pay someone that much money, you expect him to play well. Wilson really showed out in the game against the Titans.
He was good. You mean the Colts?
Yeah. I meant the game against the Colts. The game against the Titans hasn't happened yet. But maybe I'm projecting the future.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
But he really showed out in the game against the Colts. Like, it was pretty much if his name popped up on the screen, a positive play happened for the defense.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. He was going to be my my surprise person because he had the one play on the read option where, you know, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Richardson probably could have forced the issue a little bit more and came up closer to him before doing a pitch out, but he read it perfectly, got the stop by himself for the most part, and or at least, you know, caused the defense to get the stop. I was like, I'm sorry, Wilson, or Eric Wilson, I did not know you had that in you. So, yeah, I think he's a good surprise so far. Wyatt on the defense line is probably my other big jump, like, surprise. I expected him to be better in a 4-3. I didn't expect him to just be flashing as much as he already has in that system. So I've been pretty pumped about that.
Well, he's probably, you know, he's in year 2, right?
Is it year 2? I thought he was like year 3 now. Which still, like, that's kind of why I was expecting to jump. Like, he's been in there a little bit, but it was still kind of like, you know, kind of waiting to see, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he could be good. Right now, we're going to get to see if Richardson's arms is good on the game as it is in real life, because they're going to have to make up 14 points here.
Doesn't matter.
Nope, not when Kenny Clark's running like that. I'm going to send a blitz on him here real quick. Stokes!
Nice. You know what? Stokes is also another player who's played pretty well so far this season.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't heard about it because he's not getting burned.
Yeah, he definitely has settled in more.
So far.
His rookie season was pretty good. His sophomore season was and then, you know, obviously all the injuries and stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's been hurt a lot the last couple seasons.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was kind of hoping for at least above average.
It could just be that he's healthy.
Yeah, finally healthy, you know, getting to play.
Yeah, only two games in, you know, he could certainly have a bad season, but, you know, so far so good.
Yeah, 2nd and 14. I need to change my setup when I'm doing these videos. So, obviously not everybody's gonna see my setup or anything like that, but I got this freaking bar for my light over here, and it's half blocking the bottom of the screen right now, so where my down the distance is right where the webcam and the bar hit each other.
Fail.
Yeah.
Mostly because you haven't adjusted it, even though you know it's a problem.
Yeah. You know who's another good positive so far? And it's not necessarily for his passing or pass catching right now, but shout out to Christian Watson, because we just saw that stat right beforehand where he's like 3rd in run blocking for receivers or something like that, whatever that stat was.
Yep, through 2 weeks he's I don't know how you determine that stat, but through 2 weeks he's the 3rd best wide receiver at run blocking.
Yeah,
which is definitely a surprise, but a welcome one.
Yeah, I'll gladly take that all day. Obviously, you know, hope to get him some more targets and, you know, get good over there, but, you know, I'm sitting here, it's 4th and 1. I'm up 2 scores. If I kick the damn field goal, I'll be up 3 scores.
Yep.
Why did I listen to Madden? I know I could burn off more time, but pedal
to the metal.
No.
All gas, no brakes.
No.
Weak.
Yeah.
This game doesn't even count. It's not a dynasty game.
No, but I like to see kickers actually make field goals.
Coward.
I know, right? Seal it up, get the 3-score lead, and then get a pick 6 or something. We ride.
I'm disappointed in you.
Join the club. I guess too, I know we're going to talk probably more about, so before I say that, for everybody that's watching this is going to go out on Saturday because there is a Fortnite video going out, later today, or maybe it's already out right at this point because we're recording on Friday, so I think the Fortnite video is out, so if you haven't seen it, feel free to watch that and like, subscribe, comment, whatever on it. But, yeah, this one will be, I think, the first video on Saturday, and then we're doing another video with the Titans preview right around the same time on the uploads. It's gonna be a little bit after this video recording. We're gonna take a break and stuff, but, yeah, so stick around for all that. Don't know if I'll get to the NASCAR one for Sunday or not. If not this week, then that one will come back out for the NASCAR heat on next Sunday. So it's been fun on that season too so far on trucks. But I'm trying to remember, do we have anything else planned on videos right now? I know we've been playing Fortnite like crazy again.
I mean, the only thing that I know we have planned is the next recap and preview.
Yeah.
For the Packers season.
Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, obviously feel free to comment on that too. But I do try to post on all the social medias and stuff whenever stuff's going out, or give you all links there too if you follow on there. But you don't have a channel yet, right, Zach?
I mean, technically, there is a channel. It does exist, but no, there's no videos on it.
Gotcha. So, stay tuned for whenever he does start posting. We'll start linking all that stuff up.
Once upon a time in the future.
In the year 3000.
That's just sad.
I did a dive to try
sad.
to take out his knees, and he somehow just didn't get affected. Disappointed. That's better.
He just voluntarily ran into that sack.
He farved it against Strahan.
Yeah, but this one didn't even mean anything.
Nope. Getting there. 18-second runoff. Holy crap. Not that I'm mad, but why? Alright, 4th and goal.
Because apparently when you know huddle exactly where the ball was, it takes you 18 seconds to get ready to snap it.
Yeah, some of that's a little awkward. But let's see if we can get the stop, keep him at 10. Rashad and Gary, how you doing? Alright.
How you doing?
Put cheese on everything. See if I can get Josh Jacobs even more yardage before this one's over. Final play here.
You juked into the defense.
He'll be alright. So I'll take a 27. I'll take that 27-10 victory. And alright. What a block.
Boom.
Oh, jeez. That was awesome. But, yeah, so just like real life, Green Bay wins the home opener on this one. And, Dynasty mode right now is 2-0. And this game is, or real life Packers are 1-1. So, hopefully, I can go to 3-0 in Dynasty and they'll go to 2-1 this weekend. But we'll talk about that in the next video. So, any final words for this one, Zach?
Go Pack, go.
Hell yeah. Go Pack, go. But see y'all shortly.
Baby, it's you and I